Ah,
And
live.
we're live. We are live
Hello.
now. So, hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the L3R3 podcast. Yeah, that's working. Oh my God, I need to shut the fuck up. And,
What?
well, there goes that. But whatever. We're, we're
Always
back for another
monetized.
episode. Uh, Normally, again, just like last week, normally this would be on Mondays, but
This is a
I
Tuesday show now.
it's a Tuesday show the past 2 weeks, and in stunning, amazing fashion, I wasn't forward thinking enough to realize, oh yeah, we're not doing the show on Monday. We'll just do it on Tuesday, and then it's like, what's happening Tuesday? Oh yeah, that's right, the fucking election. So here we are
Yep.
on election day, talking about video
Three
games
cheers for
because
the red, white, and
What
blue.
else? What else are we
yeah,
gonna do?
with a
Uh,
Canadian no less.
I know.
barely
Um,
even human. Barely even
so
human.
oh my god. So before we get into topics, because I have things I want to say about a certain game that's on screen right now, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Before we do that, anybody who wants to go first, start us off. What have you been playing? What's been going on? How's it going? And all that fun, awesome
Uh,
stuff.
if it's all right, I'd like to go first.
It is all right. But
Dark
before you do
Tide.
that, welcome Mick Toaster Boy. Appreciate
Holy
you
shit!
for stopping by.
Hello, McToy.
Normally I put your comment up on the screen, but we don't use StreamYard anymore. And there's some
Trash.
trade-offs.
That's a piece of
StreamYard's
shit.
garbage, but it does some things cool, like I can put up comments on the screen. So I can't do that, unfortunately. But continue.
Dark Tide has absolutely taken over my life in absolutely every single form possible.
You haven't started Metaphor?
I'm nearing I'm at 220 hours
You
now.
haven't
I have been
started
playing.
Metaphor once.
Yeah, who gives a shit about that game? No one's even talking about it anymore. Anyways, so Dark Tide has
Oh
absolutely
man.
taken over my life. It is incredible. I love it so much. I can't stop playing it. And then today they announced that there's a new game mode coming out for it. It's going to be a 40 tier system. And essentially it's like you have to work your way up to reach tier 40, and every single tier has like modifiers to make it more difficult for you, but every week they're introducing like a general modifier to the rotation that isn't in the standard game mode. And dude, it's gonna be fucking nuts. I can't wait. This game already makes me want to rip my hair out half the time. I can't wait to be bald by the time I'm done playing it. It's gonna be great.
Let's go. You play
That
anything
I'm
else?
telling you, that it's fantastic. I love it so much.
Oh, I believe you. I believe that you think it's fantastic, Mike, and that you love it a
Thank
lot.
you. And I believe that you believe that I like you.
Juan, what are you playing, bud? I'm gonna avoid that.
See, I finally just got done playing Metaphor, and my God, man, like, but yeah, man, I don't even know what to do anymore. Like, I finished it, and I was like, man, what do I look forward to anymore? You know, it's one of those games where I just now I'm thinking about it, like, would I play something else? I just replay this game again? Like, I don't even know what to do. But I couldn't like I'd like to play even more games, but the thing is I was in Ottawa for like 3 days, so I couldn't even have time for that. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to. Like I haven't even really been playing like Sonic. I haven't playing that, so it was just yeah, it was really just Metaphor, nothing but that. And I just finished it just like a few hours ago. So I'm kind of in that phase where I'm kind of just sitting down, kind of just soaking everything in, and just being like, man, what do I even do anymore? So that's pretty much what I've been at.
Okay. Okay. As for myself, I've been playing the game that you see on screen here, Dragon Age Veilguard,
Oh my
and in
god, yeah,
fact,
Dragon Age. Sorry,
uh,
man.
no, I was gonna say this because this. I'm just gonna take us into the first thing because I do. I feel like we're. I know I've got a lot to say about Dragon Age. I know you probably have something to say about Dragon Age. Tuan
I
hasn't played
definitely
it,
don't have.
so yeah, Tuan
Definitely
hasn't
don't.
played it. Uh, but there are topics that Tuan wants to talk about, and we'll get to those in a little bit. But before we do that, we gotta get to Dragon Age because that's like it just recently released. A lot of controversy surrounding it. We talked a little bit about that last week before the game even released. Um, But the really interesting part about this is that the game, I mean, for me at least, is fucking incredible. I love it. I love it to the point, and I know, Mike, you're gonna make fun of me because I always say this shit, and I've actually had to think about it, and I've had to think about it really and stop myself from like. I actually have
for you to say it, Matt. I'm letting you
I
know.
actively, Mike, you don't understand that I actively have to stop myself from compulsively declaring a game one of the greatest things I've ever. Like, I have to actually stop myself because I guess I'm just that reactionary. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me. But
I feel
like,
like 4 games have been.
I'm just
your
happy
guide
you're happy,
the
right?
past, like,
I'm
few
just
months.
happy you're happy.
yeah, but like, I'm playing Dragon Age, right? And right now, I think I posted on Twitter. My game of the year right now, as it stands, is Dragon's Dogma 2. And I
I
don't.
thought it was Space Marine.
Space Marine and Dragon's Dogma 2 are right.
Matt
like
said that before.
I did say that before.
Dragon's Dogma.
I guess it's just a recency bias thing. I guess
That's the thing. I'm like, because I'm trying not to do that with this game. I'm trying to like constructively think about it in my mind, so I don't just declare it game of the year off of the fact that I played it recently. I'm not gonna do that.
Well, not only that, but I mean, like, you're not even like close to finishing it. So, for all you know, the next half of the game could
Come on,
be
you
absolutely
played like 3 hours of that metaphor game, and you said it was the greatest thing ever made. I don't want to hear it. Leave Matt alone.
That's true.
Anyways,
you
go
said
on,
you said Metaphor's game of the year before you even played it, Dawn.
Yeah, I said it was game of the year like a year ago before like
You
was,
did.
like,
Exactly. You said it was game of the year when it was now. Exactly. So, like,
Blind.
for Veilguard, I don't know. I think, in fact, I have it up on my screen here. If I can just turn my controller on real quick. I think in game I'm about 60 hours in. Now, 60 hours, about 10 of that's idle time. I've fallen asleep with this game on multiple times because I'm just going to bed and I'm playing it, and then I play so much that I just pass the fuck out. So that's happened a few nights already, so I'm sure there's a good amount of hours in there that aren't really me playing, just me asleep in my bed.
Yeah.
With a controller on my stomach. But, like, if I had to guess, I probably actually played about 45 hours.
God damn.
This game right now, I think the one thing I give Dragon's Dogma over this game right now, and again, like Tuan did bring up a point, I haven't beat the game yet, and maybe something changes, makes me think less of the game or more of the game, whatever happens, I don't know yet. But if the game keeps progressing the way it's progressing, I don't know how it's not going to be my game of the year. If it keeps going the way it's going.
I keep hearing the story gets better the more you go too.
That's the thing, it does. Because, dude, the criticisms that people have of this game, I mean, outside of the whole other shit that hasn't anything to do with gaming, but like the criticisms that people had with the game itself seem to be that of like the tone is very different from Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2, Inquisition. This is more in line with Inquisition. And for me personally, I know you haven't played God of War. At least I don't think you play God of War, Mike.
No.
But the new God of War, I mean. I'd put this somewhere in between God of War, like new God of War, in terms of tone. I'd put this somewhere in between Hogwarts Legacy and God of War.
Yeah, I can absolutely see that.
Where Hogwarts Legacy was very silly, though there were serious moments in Hogwarts Legacy, but it was very silly, very whimsical. This isn't, I wouldn't say I mean, at the beginning it is. At the beginning it's just it's a goof. It's just a goofy thing at the beginning. But the more it goes on, it gets more serious in tone and everything. You're actually dealing with some real stakes in the game and whatnot. So, like, exactly. So I would say tone-wise, it's somewhere in between Hogwarts Legacy and God of War. I'd also even put it like between those two in terms of its gameplay, because I've seen people say it's a lot like God of War, and I can really see that. I can really see that in the combat. I know right now on screen, I'm just fucking kind of exploring. This is really early game footage. So, like, you're not going to see a lot of the stuff that I have unlocked now skills-wise and everything. But once you get really invested, like I went with a rogue character, once you get really invested into your which branch of the skill tree you're going to pivot towards, that's when combat really starts to open up, at least for the rogue. And I can totally see how somebody would say this reminds me of God of War. I can absolutely see that. But yeah, like I absolutely love this game. And I will say, just to the whole point of like kind of the controversy we talked about last week. I
just
got to
say
the
too, I'm gonna
yeah.
let
Go
you
ahead.
guys know. I was gonna say it as someone that's been in a relationship with men and women for a lot of my adult life. I'm gonna say something real quick. I'm gonna say my fucking chest out. I wasn't gonna buy this game at all. I had really not much interest in it. It looked cool. I heard the combat reminded a lot of people of Kingdoms of Amular. And Amular, I've never know how to actually pronounce that game. I played that when it came out originally on Xbox 360. I thought it was a fun game. I never dived too much into it though because I was really into Skyrim. I played the Re-Reckoning edition, which I believe was the re-release that THQ did, if I'm not mistaken, or whoever the parent company is now.
I'll look it
I
up.
wasn't gonna get that game again. And I played it again. And it was great. But anyways, I wasn't gonna get this game. I had really not that much interest. I'm so heavily invested into Dark Tide because I'm all for purging in the name of the God Emperor of mankind. I'm all for killing the heretic. I'm all for slaying the mutant for the purity of man. That's my thing. Personally, high fantasy is not my thing. I like my games incredibly violent, incredibly gory, and I want to be the one plunging the bayonet into the mutant myself. But I saw a tweet on the day of this game's release where it was, and I won't say the word the person used.
Yeah, I
It
know.
stumbled onto my timeline. It was like 7 in the morning. I woke up. I was already kind of pissed off. I was already in a mood. I woke up in a mood, and I saw a tweet. It said, "Look at all these derogatory term for gay people playing this new game." And I said, you know what? I guess if I truly am one, I might as well own that game too. Fuck it. And I just went to the Steam and I bought. I'm not kidding you. I bought it 5 seconds later and I posted it as the screenshot of the receipt quote retweeting it.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm actually really happy I did. It's fun. I actually enjoy it quite a bit. Can I give my opinions on the game, or do you have a
Go
thought
for
you
it.
wanted to finish first?
No, go for it.
I actually
Because
really
we'll do the whole thoughts and everything, and then we'll get into the next part.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, because I actually really enjoy the game. I think it's very fun. I do think, like a lot of other Bioware people, like that are very familiar with Bioware. I know you are as well. At least you're more so because you played the Mass Effect games.
Mass Effect.
But
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like the Biowareness didn't like stand out to me until like the 5 hour mark. Like I saw strands of it, but it didn't really stand out to me until I really was in that hub world and I could run up to my companions like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And then if you talk to them enough, you get a quest and yada yada yada. Like that reminded me a lot of Star Wars: The Old Republic, which I was obsessed with. That's a
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal MMO. I put over 100 hours in that, like no questions. Incredible. Yeah, so that my main complaint with the game was I kind of felt like it was almost in a tutorial like state for a little longer than I would prefer to admit, or
Mhm.
for my preference. But once it really does get into the swing of things, it's not a game too you have to play for 5 hours until it's good. It was like 5 hours until I really felt the BioWare like spice kind of like fly up into my nose, if you will. The BioWare Coke. But yeah, but I
Yes.
think the game is really fun. The combat is really good. It reminds once again Kingdom Amular. I really enjoyed that game. That was a really fun game. I also recommend anyone go check that out. You can always get the Re-Reckoning edition for like 10-20 bucks, like almost all the time. I think the story, now that it's kind of grown into its shoes, is like I'd like to say, is actually pretty good. Um, a complete hate buy. I wasn't planning on buying it at all. I just saw that tweet and I was like, you know what? If this makes someone unhappy, I'm gonna buy it. Dude, I can't believe that was my genuine thought. Like, if this makes someone genuinely unhappy, let's just give it a shot. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, if a video game makes you unhappy that someone's enjoying a video game, then you probably need to be in therapy.
Yeah.
But
There's other problems going on outside of
yeah,
gaming.
exactly. But yeah, I was actually pleasantly surprised by it, and like you were saying you were excited for it anyways, and I'm like, oh, I trust Matt's opinion on RPGs, and Ham was, and a few other friends were, and I'm like, fuck it, you know what? It pissed them off, and I might be pleasantly surprised.
It's funny how that could be like some good marketing towards the game, like just being
Yeah,
people being assholes online. It's just kind of funny.
Oh, yeah.
It literally happened with me in Hogwarts. I was not going to get that game until people said you're not allowed to or you're a bad person.
You're
I was
Yeah,
like,
you're
okay,
a bad
man.
person if you buy it.
I was like,
Yeah.
all right, cool. I'm a bad person then? Here, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. I actually love that game too. I wasn't think I was even like that game either. I ended up loving that game.
Some of
I
the
thought that
best
was great.
marketing you could actually think of.
Yeah,
It
dude,
is.
It literally became the highest selling game that year, beating out Call of Duty.
that is
That's-
insane. Remember how
that's
people
like
thought
the
that game was a failure? Dude, I can't even. I don't want to get in that conversation.
Yeah.
But, dude, I need a Twitter a lot of these people on Twitter that are like seriously think they're boycotting all these popular. And I'm not saying you can't boycott things. Like if you believe in something, but sometimes people are they think more people agree with them than they actually do because of the echo chamber they live in.
Yeah.
And sometimes they need to kind of take a breath and just kind of realize that they're making a goddamn fool out of themselves.
Yeah, just sit
But
back and look at actual reality,
And but everyone's reality is different from one another. So that's something I've had to
Yeah.
learn is that some people just see their world through diarrhea. So
Yeah.
diarrhea
own
tinted
goggles,
glasses.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's my take.
Even-
That's
even-
my
it's
opinion
funny,
on it.
even Bayonetta 3, when the game went through all that controversy, it actually got like a huge sales boost.
Yeah, I did.
With the whole voice actor thing.
Oh
Yeah,
my god, yeah, I completely forgot about that.
With the whole voice actor with Bayonetta 3, like that whole drama with that. Literally, when that came out, it went from like #1 top selling like Amazon literally right after that. So it's just crazy how boycotting is like some of the best marketing someone could have asked for.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, it
Nothing
does
makes me happier
wonders.
than pissing someone off that is acting like a child.
Yeah.
It does. It really does wonders for the game. I'll say real quick, and not to get too into the whole like outer part of the conversation of this game. I did play. I got to the part. In fact, I'm kind of well past that part now, where like the thing that people were freaking out about, like, oh, you got to do this. You got to do this whole quest about this non-binary character, and they just shove it in your face, and now it's the whole point of the game. I saw a thumbnail for a video because I didn't play that this part of the game, and before when I saw this thumbnail, and it was like the thumbnail was like the character's face, and it's like, I'm non-binary, and now this is the rest of the story, and I was like, there's no way that I get to this part in the game and this person being non-binary is now the rest of the story. There's just no fucking way. And lo and behold, I get to that part, and I'm right. It's literally a side quest that if you wanted to, you absolutely could avoid. It's a companion quest. If you don't care about the non-binary companion, don't do the companion quest. Does not matter. It's that simple, honestly. But I did the quest. You know, the character comes to the conclusion that they're non-binary, and that was it. That was really it.
Yep.
It's like I don't know. Like if you paid attention to what people were saying, you would have thought that like during this quest you would have to decide. You would have to be like, now I'm non-binary. The way that people were talking about this, it's like that, and that's not the case. That's just not the. It's like you either do the quest or you don't. And even if you do the quest, Ty says, Matt, is it so in your face, or is it that people have to pick options to get some? So like Ty, like there's the only part of it I would say that's in your face is like if you're doing the quest, there's like between your companions, because there's general dialogue that happens between you and, or not you, but each of your companions. You got 2 companions with you at any time. There's general dialogue that happens at random points throughout the quest. And I had Harding with me, and I had Tosh, who's the non-binary character. And they were talking about finding out that Tosh is non-binary. That's as in your face as it gets, really, without your consent. That is as
quest line.
Yeah, and that's as in your face as it gets without you consenting in the conversation. That is as far as it goes. Is they're having a conversation about what's happening. But outside of like that, I mean, everything else you have to elect to be a part of it. So it's like Yeah, it's not really in your face. It's certainly not in your face the way that people would make you think it's in your face online. It's just
Dude, people were
a
acting like the fucking like everyone was being fed like estrogen. Like
that's
fucking
what
how
people
they're
were
acting,
acting
dude.
like. That's what people
Dude,
were
it's
acting
insane.
like. And so, I mean, I did the quest. I chose to do the quest because honestly, I really like the character. Like, I think it's a pretty fucking badass character, honestly. But that being beside the point, it's like you either do the quest or you don't. It's really not that big of a deal. If you don't care about the companion, you can just there's plenty of other companions that you can care about. Plenty of other ones. And you can do all their quests if you want to. It's really not that big of a deal. But all in all, the game is phenomenal. Like I said, if it continues on the path it's going right now, if it keeps getting better the way it's been doing, it'll probably be my game of the year. Unless I mean, there's always a possibility Stalker 2 comes out at the last minute and just from the top fucking ropes and obliterates everything, which I hope happens. But we'll have to
Me
find
too.
out. We'll have to find out when that actually does come out. But like right now, this game's incredible. Um, Mr. Toaster McToaster Boy says, "I'm gonna go play. I'm gonna go. I'm playing a story-driven game and can't pay attention to all the talking. No problem. Appreciate you for stopping by." Says
I'll
you'll
rewatch. Oh,
rewatch
thank you,
later.
thank you, Toaster Boy. We need to hang out sometime soon, dude. Have a good one.
Yeah, have a good one, buddy. But yeah, that's Dragon Age Veilguard. I don't know if there's anything else to add to it, really. I mean, I know on Friday, Loke was asking me and Ham if we had to rate the game, what we'd give it. And I know Ham said he was like at an 8.8, and I said I was at an 8.5. And I know I made my post on Twitter today, and I said if it keeps getting better like this, it'll probably be my game of the year. And Ham said it's gone down maybe like a point for him. So I'm interested to talk to Ham actually, and see like if he's just not vibing with the story or what's going on. But I mean, I'm still probably sticking around that I maybe give it a 9 right now. Again, I have to see the ending of the game and see what happens, but it's a really good game. If you like pretty intense combat, speaking directly for the rogue in this game, then I feel like you'll probably like this game. You'll probably have a good amount of time, a good amount of fun with this game, and the story does get really good as you go along in it. So,
Yeah, I
highly
personally give
recommend
it
it.
like for me at the moment, I definitely give it an 8, a very strong 8. I
Hmm.
think it's a very good. I think it's definitely a good game. Nowhere near this absolute clusterfuck outside of the whole weird fucking
Yeah,
culture war movement going around the game because the internet's full of fucking idiots. Um, I think it is just a good game. It's like some of the writing at some points I won't even pretend, especially at the beginning, is incredible. Like
yeah,
some, I won't pretend it's incredible. I'm not going to do that. That's why I'm saying it's an 8. If the writing was more up there, because there's a lot of good lines and there's a lot of good like notes and beats, but there's some that are just like, why do I feel like ChatGPT wrote that? But then again, I feel like that with a lot of things. But
yeah.
and I'm not even a writer, so I can't even pretend I'm a good writer. But yeah, but I think
I
the
am.
combat really, you're something. But no, the combat really
Oh,
is like for
Storm.
me the absolute like reason I'm here, right? Like it's like I think everyone, realistically speaking, like if we were just walking around and talking to people, no one would be fucking here. But
Yeah,
it's kind of like knowing it was so like Kingdom of Amalur and its gameplay was kind of enough for me.
yeah. Uh, so, oh, I guess another thing to point out about Dragon Age before we move on to the next topic is that it's doing very well. Also, like outside of the fact that like I like it and like a lot of my friend group likes it, it's actually just doing very well, just in
Yep.
general. I did see. I checked earlier today. I'm sure it hasn't changed, but I checked earlier today, and its all-time peak was 89,000. And I also saw a
Yeah,
tweet to
it
put
failed
that.
though.
What's
Yeah, a lot
Game
of
that?
people
Yeah,
failed.
are
exactly.
still, yeah, a lot of people are still trying to downplay it. You
The
know.
game
Which,
failed though. It only made, and it's funny because it's not reading the PlayStation statistics or the Xbox statistics. Dude, it fucking
yeah,
the loops, the fucking hoops people go through, dude, is fucking like the goalpost, dude. These people aren't even just moving a goalpost; they're in an entire different country with that motherfucker. It's insane.
yeah, they're
It
moving
is
the whole
actually
field at
insane.
this point. I like
Ugh.
to put that in perspective. I saw a tweet that does a really good job putting it in perspective. And this tweet, when they made this tweet, it was at 84,000 all time peak. Right now, it's at 89,418 all time peak. But this tweet says 84,000, and on this tweet, she says, taking your logic into account, almost all these games are considered failure because they were quote tweeting somebody who was
Yeah.
saying Dragon Age Veilguard was a failure, and they said taking your logic into account, almost all these games are failures. Witcher 3 at 103,000 concurrent. That's the most on this list here. Metaphor 85,000, actually about 86. We'll call it 86. It's 85.9. And then Veilguard's there with 84 at that time. Red Dead 2, 77,000. Ghost of Tsushima, 77,000. Spider Man Remastered, 66,000. Another EA game, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, 67,000. So this, by the way, broke EA's record for single player game on Steam for most concurrent players. So there's that. Like, games on this list, like Fallout New Vegas, the all time peak for Fallout New Vegas, which was goddamn 14, almost 14 and a half years ago.
Yeah.
And then you got games like Batman Arkham Knight, and then you got Final Fantasy 16. None of these games, the last few games I mentioned, have come close to Dragon Age Veilguard's numbers. And this is, like Mike said, just Steam. This isn't counting Xbox. This isn't counting PlayStation. I believe it's also not like anybody's buying it there in huge numbers. I believe this also doesn't count EA's numbers.
Yeah, sure.
So, like,
And how many people are playing it through EA Play?
exactly. I don't know if it's a lot, but I'm sure there's
Service.
people.
Yeah.
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 That's a fair point. Also, people playing it through their service, because they do launch those games day and date on their service, like their pro service or whatever. So there's that. I mean, yeah, the game's doing really well. It's good to see. I know, not gonna mention any names because I don't want to do that, but I know somebody said it wasn't even gonna crack 20,000 concurrent players.
That's funny.
And that
I'm
was
happy.
hilarious. I also saw somebody, the same person, said it wasn't going to crack 2 million sales, and I'm
hon.
I don't know, man.
Oh,
I don't
hon.
know. I think it's. I mean, it's already cracked one of those. I think it's not going to take too long to crack the other one. Ty says Star Wars is EA's best single player game of recent, and Dragon Age has already surpassed it. It's clear it's done well. Now, if they meet EA's expectation, it's another story. Yeah,
Yeah, right. That's exactly it.
That's fair. I think, the game is doing well, but we also gotta hope and pray that EA has their expectations in check, because I mean we recently saw with expectations with companies like Ubisoft, they shut down an entire studio that made probably their highest rated game in like about a decade because it didn't meet expectations. Well, what the fuck were your expectations? So
For a
hopefully,
side-scroll game, bro.
Another
Yeah,
thing that does
exactly.
kind of worry me a little bit is like with Dead Space. I'm pretty sure they weren't satisfied with how Dead Space
Yeah.
performed. So there's
Yeah.
that to worry about.
Yeah, but then you look at Dead Space. I mean, in fact, I'm kind of curious. I'm gonna look that up just for my own amusement.
And I
What?
think even Need for Speed Unbound kind of underperformed as well for them.
Didn't like that game just in general not sell like incredibly well though? Like, wasn't that a game that didn't really like take that like scene by storm? I'm like not defending it. I'm just like I just thought
What,
that
Dead
one was
Space?
no Need for Speed Underground,
Unbound, yeah.
Unbound, whatever it is.
Oh
Sorry.
yeah,
Yeah.
Unbound. Yeah, that didn't do well for them apparently. Dead
No, I know, but
Space.
like in general. Go on.
Dead Space had 30,000 concurrent players. Peak.
So it looks like it's doing better than that at least.
It's doing like nearly
More than
triple that. Nearly triple that because it's right under 90. So, I mean, yeah, it's doing great. We'll see about the numbers and everything if EA ever talks about that. But I'm enjoying it. That's really as much as I can say at this point. I'm really, really loving it. And as soon as this show's over, I'm going to be playing more of it.
Yeah, Need for Speed only had an all-time of 14,000 concurrent players. So, man, yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Not too
Honestly, that's more than I thought it would be. I loved Unbound, but
I thought Unbound was pretty good.
dude, that's the first Need for Speed game I bought and like played front to back,
Yeah.
like almost
We still
without
gotta make our
stopping.
game Speed Junkies.
Yeah, right. Oh my
Yeah, I
god, what
remember
was
that.
that?
You know, that was fucking years ago. That joke was made.
Who
There's a
made
game
that?
of
Was that
it was a
Twan?
game. It was a game. No, it was
Which
me. It was
one?
a game about playing as a drug addict, and it's like you're like I don't want to spoil it because I'm gonna make that game
Spoil
one
it.
day. No,
Spoil.
no, it was a fucking joke just about like the more drugs you do, the faster you're on.
Oh,
It
is
was
that
so
the-
fucking
was that?
stupid.
Oh, was that the game that we made up with like Ham and
Yeah.
like?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
We had to end the show because I was like getting way too into it.
It was just like it was like a racing game about like some depressed like drug addict or something.
Yep, exactly. And it's like,
Oh
and
my
it's
god, it
racing,
was that.
remember?
Yeah,
Right?
This was when people were
we're talking
talking
about
about
GoldenEye. We're
yeah,
talking about GoldenEye.
Forza.
We're talking about Forza. I was like, man, what if Forza just had like an insane story and then we
Had a
got into that?
crazy
We also,
story.
Yep. But I also remember we were complaining about GoldenEye too. Was like it didn't have proper multiplayer in that show.
Yeah.
I remember what I was doing. I was playing Project Warlock 2. I remember even which
Yeah.
level I was doing, which boss I was fighting. I don't know
Yeah.
why I can remember that so specifically, but I can.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Sorry.
Yeah, I remember
That's a throwback.
that was the definitely yeah, that was a highlight for sure. I think
That
we
was like
even clipped it.
2022.
Yeah, I'm
That
pretty sure we
must
even
have been.
clipped
I'm making that game.
that. Yeah.
Speed Junkies. I'm telling you.
I'll voice
Yeah,
act
have
in
to-
it.
You
I'm
have to
gonna-
you have to balance. You just have to balance how many drugs you do before you completely lose yourself.
Yeah,
I'm getting-
I think even Ham said there was a part where there'd probably be like a mini game where it's like outrun, but he's just like tripping out. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'll voice act in that game, and I'll play the main character and the love interest, and I'll use the same voice. for both.
That's hysterical.
Oh my god!
Yeah, Matt just voices the entire game and doesn't even like try to change his voice.
He does
Nope.
the car noises too.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Oh, perfect. We don't got to record cars because I can just go.
It's fucking funny.
My god.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
we're
just
idiots.
Fucking
Yeah.
Matt just does all the sound, does the entire sound for that game. You even have to do the soundtrack as well. Just do like boo, boo, just do like beatboxing or something.
I just beatbox for like 3 hours straight.
That's the soundtrack.
yeah, oh my.
None of it even sounds good or makes any sense. It's just noises. At one point, I just scream and hold it for 15 seconds.
I don't know why the idea of that while you making the car noises is so fucking funny. It is.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's perfect because it'll be like car
Yeah,
crashes and you got to scream in
yeah,
a car
no.
crash.
They'd all just fucking blend together, just be like some mess. Just
It's an awful sound.
Game comes out. It's the worst rated game of all time. It's like a 5 on Metacritic.
yeah, it has like a 2% on Steam.
It's
Oh my God, what the fuck were we
Steam has to
talking
make a
about
new
anymore?
thing a new thing besides overwhelmingly negative. They have to make a new word.
Yeah, fucking
dog
just
shit.
abysmal.
Yeah, Steam's official review is just terrible. Just
I should
horrible.
feel bad.
Oh my god.
That is
We-
so
Yeah,
funny.
it's excruciatingly painful. Just
What were we even talking about? Oh,
One
we
of-
were talking about I don't fucking know.
One of the reviews says, I gotta be honest, this might be the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
It's gonna be you. It's gonna be your review.
Yeah. It'll be live on my channel thumbnail. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Oh my god. Off
That's
of Dragon
fucking funny.
Age 2. That's hilarious. All right, but we talked enough about Dragon Age. I think everyone gets the point.
Yep.
But moving on to the next. I know, Twan, you actually said you wanted to talk about Mario.
yeah, Mario and Luigi, the brother ship.
Yeah. So let's do that because we talked about at length for a topic that you had nothing to do with, really. So let's
Yeah,
get you
yes.
in here and talk about that.
Yeah, so actually, just I think was it yesterday or was it 2 days ago? I think it was yesterday. So basically, what
yesterday.
happened was it yesterday. Oh, so I guess you remember it then. But
That's what I
Anyway,
think you're talking about. Yeah, the IGN thing.
yeah. So
Yeah.
IGN recently released a review on the new Mario and Luigi game, Mario and Luigi Brothers Ship. It's like I think one of their biggest games. I think that they're releasing this year, and IGN scored it a 5 out of 10. That's probably the lowest a Mario's game has gotten in like a long ass time. And yeah, but I mean, even right now, I think it's sitting at like an 80 on Metacritic, which isn't bad. Obviously, like that's a good score, right? But it still is pretty low for like Mario Nintendo standards.
Yeah.
So there's
They're gonna be
that.
publicly executed. It's transferring
So it is
against
a
the
little, and it
company.
seems like, and even then, like I'm looking at other reviews, and it seems like a lot of people have the same problems that this IGN reviewer has as well. So I mean, I feel like most of these complaints are probably going to be valid for the most
And what
part.
are the what are those complaints? Because I haven't seen
Yeah.
anything about.
I
I
mean,
don't
just
catch up with anything Mario. There's a new one every other day.
yeah. So I think one of the most of the problems that he had was like, a lot of things drag out. It feels like it was made for kids. Basically, the writing was like a huge downgrade compared to, like he says the writing was like a huge downgrade compared to like the other games in the
It was
series.
made
Like,
for kids.
like no, like
Fucking
It
he
was
says
made
in
for kids.
it well, obviously they're made for kids, but he says it's made for kids in the way where it's just like to the point where like it's like, for example, Mario game would be made for like ages like 6 to let's say like they're usually designed so even like an adult could enjoy it, right?
it's like
Like
there's
it's
no like any kind of like it's kind of like this is so random, but Avatar like Last Airbender where it kind of grows with the audience and it kind of like
yeah,
I don't know, is that
right.
what they mean? Like it's supposed to kind of like
Yeah,
push you
because
along
like he
in
says, like
terms
this
of
game feels like instead of being made for 6 to 80 years olds, it feels like it's made for 6 to 12 year olds in mind. Like
yeah,
like it's not really made for the wider. Like it's just very like the game pretty much solves all the puzzles for you and all that kind of stuff, right? Like it just, and even the writing is like
yeah,
very. He says
okay.
that none of the jokes land. Like a lot of them are just not good. So
Skibbity Riz.
whatever. He doesn't like the game, right? He didn't like. Obviously, he didn't enjoy the game that much. He gave it a 5 out of 10. And whatever, that's his opinion. I'm not gonna like beat him up for it. But like if you check the replies to this review, everyone is just shitting on this guy. Like no one is like accepting this review at all. And I feel like that's kind of wrong to do that because then we see like this situation with Dragon Age where they gave it a 9 out of 10 with a completely opposite scenario, and no one's accepting that review either. Everyone's all saying, "Oh, you're a shill," this that. So it's like this is kind of the problem with reviews nowadays. Like they're just the way they're inflated in a way. Like I feel like why does a reviewer have to be scared to put out their honest opinion for something? Because with the fear of being just bodied by all these like angry other Twitter users. It's just kind of like, but you see where I'm getting at this from, right? Where it's like they can't
Yeah.
even like
Yeah.
be honest anymore. It's like this is the reason why I feel like most reviews are inflated these days, is because they're afraid of situations like this, where a lot of people just straight up hate on them if they give it too low of a score. It's just, I just feel like it's the wrong way of looking at things, and I just feel like we should like this shouldn't even be a thing. And I just feel like it just kind of like just shows you what's wrong with like just modern journalism in general. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of just a mess, honestly.
I
It's like
agree with
it's like
that.
a combination of
Yeah,
the journalism and like the whole like community
yeah,
around gaming too. Because
yeah,
I'd be like, because I feel like a lot of that whole like yeah, some of it's probably like you could argue like I guess maybe from the
yeah,
journalist side, but I feel like a lot of it is fucking these absolute toddlers. Like, and
mhm,
the thing is, it's like also now because there's been reviewers in the past also too that seemingly didn't like a game from the very get go, and all of a sudden they're the
yeah,
one reviewing the games
yeah,
announced. Like that one dude that
Yeah.
reviewed Starfield,
yeah,
Yeah, I'm
that he
glad you
wanted to
said
be
that.
the one because he
yeah,
wanted to be
Yeah.
the one to review it. So it's like now people are like, well, does this person have an agenda against the game? Because people like that
yeah,
genuinely existed, even though they're very minor. And that's the thing too, is that's also important to know. But it's like, and I'm not going to be putting, oh my God, all journalists, I'm going to blame journalists. I'm not going to do that. I'm not fucking
yeah,
stupid. I'm not a toddler. But it's like, it's this whole, it's discourse is dead.
yeah.
It's
It's
Yeah.
like
dead.
Yeah, I'm
it's just
glad.
it's not. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say to Mike, I'm glad that he brought up the Starfield thing because I was gonna
Yeah,
bring that up of like even a game like Starfield, you see. I mean, granted, you could argue maybe that guy might, like Mike said, maybe you can make an argument he has an agenda because I think he's reviewed other Bethesda games. He doesn't seem to like Bethesda or Xbox in general. He doesn't like them very much.
You know?
So like
because you saw that one tweet too. He's like, "Yeah, I made sure I'm the one." I'm like, "Okay,
yeah,
that's interesting."
it's like,
That's
well,
not weird.
why would you do that if you're going into the game knowing you're probably not going to like it? Then why would you be the one to? That's a whole another topic for another thing. But it's like I agree though that like it's why I don't take reviews seriously unless it's from somebody that like I follow regularly and listen to the reviews regularly. And I gotta be honest, right now I don't really even listen to people's reviews regularly. Like there was a point that I did, but then like there's been so many instances of like, oh, I trust this guy's opinion on their review of this game, and then they say they don't like it, but then I make my decision. I'm not going to play it because they say they don't like it, and they know my taste in games because we're pretty similar. And then I play it, and I'm like, wait, actually, this is really good. What are they talking about? I've had that happen too many times, or vice versa, where it's like this game's amazing, and then I play it, and I'm like, this game's terrible. So I've had that happen too many times to where now I really don't even. I don't look for reviews. Like that's like I thought was funny last week when the whole review thing came out for Dragon Age, where it was like there were so many differing opinions and people arguing about different things about the game. It's like I gotta be honest, I don't care what any of you guys are saying, whether it's positive or negative, because I just don't trust anyone's opinion really outside of myself.
Yeah.
And especially a company like, I think it's easy and fun to shit on IGN, but like being in all seriousness, especially a company like IGN where it's like
they're a corporation that owns like half the industry now. I mean,
exactly.
like the reviewer industry.
Exactly. It's like I especially now can't take IGN too seriously for that exact reason. I mean, most gaming outlets and journalism runs through IGN now. Like most of it. So it's like it's hard for me to take them. It's hard for me to look at them and say they're obviously not biased about anything whatsoever, because everybody's biased about something, whether it's exactly, whether it's just one person reviewing something or a whole fucking corporation full of people reviewing something. Obviously you have a bias. It's part of being a human. So like I totally agree with that. Like I don't know what people want or expect from reviews online. Like in the case of the Mario game, it's like if the guy didn't like it, he didn't like it, and it's his review.
Give his opinion, right?
Yeah, it's his review. Like reviews are all opinion pieces. They're not to be taken as fact. It's how someone felt about a game. Whether it was good or bad, it's not a fact. It's up to you to decide what is the fact or not. And them giving that game a 5 out of 10, somebody can read his review who likes that person and play it and be like, this was amazing. This is the best thing ever. Yeah. So it's like, is it really that important? I just don't feel like it's that important. I feel like people give it too much cachet, importance.
Yeah.
Way more than it needs, honestly. But yeah, I mean, that whole situation. Also, people online are just kind of dicks. I feel like if we've learned anything the past couple years, or just in general, my entire time on the internet, people online are kind of dicks.
Yeah.
And if they don't agree with you, even if it's opinion based, they'll make you feel like you are actually wrong. So, it is what it is, I guess.
And the craziest part is like this is about a game that they haven't even played. They're all like, "Oh, you're wrong." It's like, "Have you played it?" Well, there's other guys. So it's like it's all opinions at the end of the day, and the fact that you're like shitting this guy's opinion for something you even play, it's just I don't know, just even more of a bad look for you. So I don't know, it's just. But I mean, like I said, like at the end of the day, the only opinion that really matters is yourself. If you know you're gonna like a game, try it out for yourself. Because at the end of the day, like at least for me, the only reason I even look at reviews is to make sure if a game's not a total disaster. Honestly, at that point,
Yeah, pretty much.
it's pretty much just a good point. It's pretty much good just to look at it like that. It's like, okay, is this game like a train wreck or not? Because at the end of the day, you're gonna like what you like. So
Yep.
yeah.
Ty's
Anyway.
Ty says, I think people focus on the conclusion of the reviews too much. People need to read the body, and that should inform the conclusion. But I think people know this because whenever IGN gives a 7, they literally say this game clearly isn't a 7, and they cry about it being a 7. People like crying too much. Yeah. I mean, I more or less agree with that statement. I mean, I feel like if you're somebody who's really looking for a review, especially in written form like IGN does, and I know they do the videos and everything also, but like if you're clicking onto their website and into their articles for reviews, then you should honestly be reading that review. I mean, whether you agree with it or not. First of all, if you have something in your mind that, like, if you want someone to reinforce your opinion, then why are you clicking on the thing that doesn't reinforce your opinion? Yeah. Like, if all you're looking for is somebody to reinforce that, hey, I like this game, I need somebody to tell me that this game's good. If you're looking for that, then why are you even on this guy's thing talking about he's stupid for giving it a 5 out of 10? Like, why would you even care? Just look for somebody else who says it's good.
Yeah.
Like, but like, I mean, I don't know. It's stupid. I think the way that
I was find you maternal.
Boo.
But yeah, people just want their opinions validated. That's all it really comes down to.
I will put my screen up saying I'm going to show Doom Eternal gameplay right now on your stream.
No, you won't.
Do it right now, bud.
If you do, it's going to mess up. It's going to mess up the stream.
Fuck.
It's going to take the whole placement out of whack because we're back on OBS.
Good. I'm going to ruin your stream. No, I won't do that.
You better not, because I'll break your legs.
I'll put some good gameplay up. I don't know what this is, but
this is
just kidding. Go on.
This is. I'm not gonna make those jokes. All right. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, I guess this honestly might actually be the last topic, because unless I'm missing something here. I'm checking my bookmarks.
Election.
Well, yeah, we're not tackling the election, buddy. I think.
Are you fucking out of your mind, Juan? Okay.
Right? We just bring the whole show to a stop and talk about American politics. I'll
play Dark Tide.
But the final thing I saw, and I think Ham put it in chat earlier, was about this whole rumor going around of Sledgehammer working on a Halo game.
Bullshit.
Twan, God bless you. God bless you. Because I'll tell you, when I saw that, and this article cites Global as the one who first. Well, Global didn't even say that they're working on a Halo game. Oh my God, Blind! Shout out to you. He just dropped.
Shut the fuck up! I see that. Shut up.
Blind, don't listen. Don't listen. Do not listen to Mike. Blind, don't ever shut up. He says, shout out to you guys, some of the realest players of the games and not Twitter. Mike, Doom is mid. That's a fact.
Oh, God.
That is a fact.
You know what? Enjoy playing Dragon's Dogma 2 50 years after it came. Actually, probably runs good now, so never mind. Enjoy it.
Yeah, it actually,
he waited like,
actually runs
he runs
great.
Actually good now.
Dude, that game...
that shit first launch, dude. That shit ran like a potato.
That like game at launch... I remember that game at launch on Xbox. I mean, PC, it wasn't great, but it was fine because it was like I was getting above 60, so I was happy. On console, it was like targeting 30, and it wasn't really hitting 30. Now they have a 60 FPS mode, and it's great.
On console?
Yeah, it's great.
No, on Ouya.
Well, how does it run? I wonder how it runs on PS5 Pro.
I know it's Pro enhanced.
Yeah.
It's still 30 FPS, even though the Pro enhanced one with like the highest tier graphical setting because it's CPU bound. There's no, like, I don't know why people were so surprised.
Well, yeah, it's pretty much so. The Pro is going to be the exact same thing as the PS5. The difference is it's going to target a higher resolution. So the PS5 and the Series X and even the Series S, although the Series S doesn't hit 60, its performance mode is like VRR 40 FPS or something like that.
Yeah.
But like the PS5 and the Series X have a mode for performance and it targets 60. It's usually in the 50 to 60 FPS range. Wait, what?
Sorry, I don't know who that is. Fucking this Vort. Vort, you
Joseph
scare
C.
me sometimes.
Oh, Vort says I think we should have Joseph Seed. Joseph Seed's the guy. I don't know if you played Far Cry 5, but he's
Oh my god, what is wrong with you, Vort?
he's the cult leader. He's the cult leader from Far Cry 5.
Go back to freaking Half-Life planet. Go back to you smelly alien. Okay, go.
Vort's in Montana right now.
Yep.
He's in Hope County, Montana,
Oh my
fighting a cult. But yeah, I don't even know what I was saying there. Oh yeah, the PS5 and the Series X had the performance mode, target 60, and it's more 50 to 60 FPS. But with VRR, it's fine. It's totally fine. It feels really smooth, which is a far cry from what it was when it launched. Because my God, it was pretty bad when it launched on console. But yeah, go play that game, Blind. That's how this started. Go play that game. It's really great. You should try it out. But back to the whole Call of Duty. Don't do that. Mike, I uninstalled Doom Eternal from my Steam Deck.
Doom Eternal?
Yes. I uninstalled Doom Eternal from my Storm Dock.
Jesus Christ, Matt, get the words out of your mouth.
Are you having a stroke?
I just passed out on stream. Oh my God.
Today, Junior. Fucking A. All right,
shit. But Sledgehammer working on a Halo game. Twan, I'm glad you called bullshit. Blind, I'm fine. I'm just we're all just having a fun time over here, Blind. But yeah, I don't see this happening simply for the fact that, like, dude, last month, we were all talking about, oh, it's awesome that 343 literally changed their name to Halo Studios. They couldn't have made it a more obvious name. They couldn't have done it. So they did that, and then on top of that, obviously the whole Unreal Engine 5 thing. This article cites Clobrel, but Clobrel never even said that they were working on a Halo game. Clobrel says Sledgehammer is hiring for, quote, an unexpected game running on UE5, which people are, saying, oh, well, Halo's on UE5, so maybe that's the case. But then again, most everything that Xbox makes is on UE5. Yeah. So it's like it could be anything at that point.
Very broad statement,
Exactly. It's like all that tells us is that they're working on a UE5 game, and that could be literally anything. All we know for sure is that means it's probably not Call of Duty, because Call of Duty is on a proprietary engine, not UE5. Right. So that's all we know for sure, or we can assume for sure. But besides that, I just look at this rumor. Like I said, Halo Studios. You just made a big deal about renaming 343 to Halo Studios. Why on earth would the first thing Halo after that be from Sledgehammer? It's just, it doesn't make any sense.
At most I could see them being like a support studio, but that wouldn't be like their full thing.
And I think unless I'm misunderstanding what this article is implying, because they don't really say it, but they also kind of hint at it. What I'm thinking is maybe they're supporting Halo Studios on the next Halo. If that's the case, that's fantastic and everything. Honestly, I think it'd be good for Sledgehammer just to, not have to perpetually look at Call of Duty until the end of time, just to look at something else a little bit. And I also know that people have their own thoughts on the Call of Duty studios. My favorite is Infinity Ward. I know a lot of people's favorite is Treyarch. I like Sledgehammer, but I know, of those three studios, they're probably the least loved.
Well, the least experienced, that's for sure, too.
Yeah. I know they get a lot of shit for their games. I know they got a lot of shit for World War II. I loved World War II, Call of Duty. Like that
Even
game.
Modern Warfare 3. Even Modern Warfare 3 got a lot of shit last year.
Well, Modern Warfare 3, I'll tell you what, Modern Warfare 3 deserved it, quite frankly. Outside of the multiplayer, the maps, the remakes of the maps and multiplayer were really cool. Outside of that, that campaign was a disaster. Was a disaster, quite frankly. But like Advanced Warfare was another one that people really liked, and I didn't play it at the time, but I've played it more recently, and yeah, that game is great. So, I mean, regardless of what your thoughts on Sledgehammer are, it sounds like they're working on a new game. I know a lot of people are hoping it's a Halo thing, and maybe they could be a support studio. But I'll pass it off to you guys. Do you guys have any thoughts on them potentially? We'll say they're working on a Halo game for the sake of this conversation. Do you have any thoughts on Sledgehammer Games potentially working on a Halo game?
I mean,
Well, the thing is, oh, sorry, you want to go first?
I just don't really see it happening. It'd be cool, but
Yeah.
like I don't really see it happening unless they're like a support, somehow acting in support with Halo Studios. You know what I mean? Like a portion of a team is or something. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really see it happening, but I'm not gonna pretend I can really understand Microsoft anymore because I swear to God they do something different every other fucking minute of the day. So
Sure. That's fair. What about you, Twan?
See, the thing is, though, I don't know, like especially making them work on not like just a Halo game, like from the ground up. It's like, would they completely just stop working on Call of Duty? Like, I feel like I feel like Activision doesn't want to give that up, like, especially
Yeah.
like, because especially like, are they gonna not release a yearly Call of Duty game? Like, I maybe I could see that happening because of like, maybe they want because I think Black Ops 2 could cook for 2 years, but who knows? Like at this point, like yeah, so that's the thing. Like if Sledgehammer Games really is gonna go like all in on this, like I'm not sure how big their studio is. Maybe they could do it. Maybe they have like 1 billion employees for all I know, and
I
they
don't think
could.
they do. I
So
think it's a relatively modest size
yeah,
AAA studio.
yeah. So I don't know because yeah, then I feel like they wouldn't be able to focus on Call of Duty if they focus on this game. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. Like it's a tricky situation. So
I think it would put Call of Duty in a weird spot, and I think everybody kind of agrees for the most part that it would be better if Call of Duty wasn't a yearly release and they could focus. They could have a
yeah,
little bit more time to work
it
on
would
it.
be for the best though. It
It
would
would
be
be
for
for
the
the best.
best, but I just don't know. I don't know if Activision wants to give that up though.
Exactly. That's the thing where it's like at the beginning of this whole acquisition with Microsoft, like everybody was super hopeful for like, oh, finally, if this goes through, then we can stop. Like Call of Duty won't have to release every year. It's like, well,
Yeah.
here we are, the acquisition's complete, and it's like Call of Duty came out last year, this year. There's already rumors about Call of Duty 2025. Call of
Yeah.
Duty 2026 is going to happen. So it's like it doesn't seem
If
like that
anything,
yearly cycle is going to stop.
yes. If anything, it seems like because and if anything, like Call of Duty was not supposed to have a year release last year, and if anything, the
And they
Microsoft
changed it,
acquisition
yeah.
felt like if anything, almost prevented it almost from like from it breaking the yearly cycle. But honestly, that like let's looking back on it, definitely wasn't Microsoft because they weren't acquired yet by the time Modern Warfare 3 came out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if you want to put Microsoft. That was obviously an Activision decision, right? So yeah, I don't know. Sorry.
Ty says it would be crazy to not make another Call of Duty game. Xbox is under pressure to be profitable. Not making a Call of Duty game is asking shareholders to ask you questions you don't want to answer. Because there's no
Yeah.
right answer to not making more money. And I'm like, here's the thing: I'm kind of in agreement with Ty on this. I don't think. I just find it hard to believe, and maybe Sledgehammer will support on a UE5 game, whatever that game may be, and maybe that's what happens. But I feel like if that happens, Activision needs to find another Call of Duty studio because I really don't think Activision, and forget Activision, I really don't think Microsoft wants to give up that money, the money of a yearly Call of Duty, because every year Call of Duty comes out, a down year for Call of Duty it's still leading in
Being
sales
like the
unless a
second,
game
yeah,
like Hogwarts Legacy comes out.
Yeah.
So it's like Xbox isn't gonna, or Microsoft isn't gonna want to give up that money. They're just like, there's just no possible way they want to get. So like, if Sledgehammer's doing something else, whatever that may be, dude, there's no possible way that Activision, Microsoft isn't digging internally at Activision right now, or maybe even outside of Activision to like make up for that studio that's missing. Because they want yearly. They've made it very clear to this point. They want yearly releases for Call of Duty, whether that's a good or bad thing. They want those releases. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, obviously, if this is true, that does mean that Sledgehammer isn't, or at least they're not fully working on Call of Duty. Because if this is true, they're working on something in UE5. So it's not Call of Duty. But I guess we'll find out sooner or later, whatever that would be. In fact, what engine do they use? It's proprietary. Do they have a name for it?
Well, it's like it's like an Infinity Ward engine. It's like IDW something. I think it's like built off of like id Tech or something like that.
Is it? Really?
Yeah, at least the old Call of Duty engines were built off of id Tech. I'm not sure if the newer ones are, but I know the older ones were, like for like Black Ops 1 and like those ones used like like they use the id Tech as like a base, and they built on top of it.
Gotcha. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's fair. But yeah, I just thought this was interesting. I know Ham put it in the group chat earlier, and I figured it'd be worth talking about because I'm not entirely sure that I'm buying that they're working on a Halo game. I don't have a problem buying that they're working on a new game. I just don't think it's Halo. I think whatever we see from Halo next, I mean, who's to say what happens in the future, like next generation or something? But I think whatever we see from Halo next will be exclusively from Halo Studios. Almost at 343, but Halo Studios. um, uh, but then again, that could be a support studio because like Halo Infinite had so many teams supporting it. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
Didn't they have like Coalition? I think Coalition was helping with that, the whole multiplayer thing. Who else was helping? I think Playground was helping with it.
Wasn't there like a certain Affinity helping out at one point? Or something?
Certain Affinity, Playground. You had Coalition help with the multiplayer. Obviously, you have all of 343 at the time, and 343 is a pretty big studio. So it's like, I mean, that's a lot of people already helping. So it's like, I don't know how much more you need, or I don't know. We'll see what happens. Though. I just thought it was kind of interesting.
It's definitely going to be a lot easier for them to help out once they use Unreal. So it's going to be
yeah. But that is the final topic for today. I don't think I'm missing anything. I was kind of a not very busy week. Felt kind of busy because
Dark Tide time.
Well, there is one thing I want to talk about.
Oh my god!
It got announced just a few minutes ago.
Minutes ago?
Nintendo officially confirmed that the Switch 2 is backwards compatible. Like they officially confirmed it just right now.
Hey, that's good.
So I mean, honestly, I feel like that was almost essential for them to add. Like, imagine if a release and it wasn't backwards compatible like that. I feel like it would kind of be a disaster, honestly. Like, they'd have to report everything all over again. It's just, I don't know, it'd just be a mess. So thank God it is. So it looks like it's just going to be a continuation of the last one, better hardware, and yeah, I think that's all it really needs to be. So good on them, So who knows when this thing's actually going to be announced, though.
Yeah. Well, at least Nintendo's not that stupid.
Yeah, honestly, that's good. Good on them.
Yeah, that's positive. I think we should add another topic, though, before we go. What do you think, Mike?
No, I want to go play fucking Dark Tide. Jesus. We're done.
Are
done.
we?
I don't want to talk about Nintendo.
I feel like I'm definitely missing a topic.
I can just leave.
check.
I mean, you guys can.
No, I just want to double check real quick before we get out of here because Mike, did you know that Ghostwire Tokyo and more are available now in PlayStation Plus games for November 2020?
Did you know I want to shove a sock down your throat? Did you know that, Matt?
What about Apex Legends from the Rift official gameplay? Have you watched it, Mike?
I hate my life.
Oh my god. Ty says, when y'all say backwards compatible, you guys mean just the store and digital games, right? Well, we don't. I don't think we know because
Well, the thing is, they said it's backwards compatible because we don't really know the form factor of like.
exactly.
I'm assuming it's gonna take the carts. I mean, if it doesn't take the carts, that's another
Yeah, that'd be really
that's gonna
stupid.
that's
if it
gonna be a
didn't.
deal breaker for a lot of people if it doesn't. But
They
I mean,
just
it
go back to
should.
really small discs like the GameCube.
Yeah, could you imagine you have to like carry your discs around and put them in the fucking Switch too? Just like,
All right, guys, you can find me here whenever Matt wants to do the show again.
Wait,
I
hold
need to
on,
go
Mike.
Persian
Mike,
hair.
wait,
No,
hold
I'm
on.
going to
Mike,
Persian. Nope,
Mike,
nope.
hold
I'm
on.
going to go
Wait,
Persian
Mike.
hair. No,
Mike,
no,
hold on.
no.
Wait, just 1 second, Mike.
Why? What?
Before you get out of here, Mike, get us started. Let us know where they can find you. Let
You
us
can
know where
find
they
me here
can
next
find you
week. What the
and
fuck?
what you're up to. Oh God,
You can find me next week. Matt, I'm going to kick your ass. Get me out of
Mike,
here. Oh, my God.
how you doing, bud? How's it going?
You can find me here next week. God,
Where's here?
you know,
What's this show called,
I,
Mike?
Oh,
God
he's
damn
back.
it! Get back in
I
here,
probably screwed up
Mike.
with layout. Did it?
Oh yeah, I know. We'll get out of here. All right. So
Whatever.
Twan, let them know where they can find you, buddy.
I mean, yeah, you can find me here on Monday, Tuesday. I don't even know when we do the show anymore. But yeah, we can find me either of those days. Find me on Twitter. It's me Twan. And yeah, I think that really wraps it up. So
Nice.
yeah. How about you?
I mean,
Mike?
obviously, you can find me here every week. Videos every week. Podcasts every week. Normally Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern is this show, the L3R3 podcast. And then on Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. So tomorrow, I'll have a show with Ham Solo 05. That is the two-player podcast, 8 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays. And then on Fridays, you can find me on TSWS Gaming. For Bullsitting, that's at 4 p.m. Eastern over on TSWS Gaming. Link in the description for that. Check that out. We're going to get up out of here. We will talk to you all next week. Thank you all for watching. Peace.
Bye.